Hey guys, this is Yunshi from the Wanderlust family, and today I want to go ahead and talk about our spending in Thailand. Now, if you've been following us on Instagram, Facebook, or any of our social media channels, you'll see that we've been able to travel to about 3 countries so far, Thailand, Bali, and Malaysia. And the biggest question that we always get is, how much does it cost? Like, is your cost of living in these other countries cheaper than what it was in America? And oftentimes the answer is yes. Believe it or not, the most expensive thing that we spend is typically on our plane tickets, because it's 4 of us, we want to sit as close together as possible. But our very first country leaving America was Thailand. So there was still a bit of a learning curve, things that we had to figure out. There was information that, despite all the research that we had done, there was still quite a few things that we needed to go ahead and learn. So today in this particular video, I want to give you our financial breakdown. We went back and kind of did everything, because for other families that may be interested in this location independent lifestyle, or maybe you want to start traveling outside of your typical locations, the Bahamas, Jamaica, places where a cruise ship can take you. I want to give you a realistic perspective of what you could expect to spend if you were to go ahead and travel with your family. We spent 30 days in Thailand. It was my birthday month, so we spent all of March in Thailand, which was amazing. So amazing, in fact, we're actually going back. That's for another story. Let me give you a quick breakdown of what everything cost, so that way you guys can have for future reference. Like most traveling families, we actually book everything through Airbnb. It's cheaper for us than trying to stay in a hotel. Unless we're going somewhere for a week or two, it just makes more sense. So we were able to find a pool villa in Thailand for 1 month, $1,921. Now, you have to understand that some people would look at that price and say, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But granted, you have to consider the fact that, one, it was a house that we had all to ourselves, also with a pool, gardener that came weekly, someone that came in and cleaned the pool weekly, water and electricity was included as well. And I say that because sometimes in Asia and various parts that you travel throughout Asia, some of these Airbnbs require that you pay electricity and water separately. You have to read the description to really understand how to break down Airbnb and get the best of it. I'm posting a link below of some really great things that you should know about Airbnb, because we have been through a lot dealing with Airbnb, and some great tips that I've learned from a representative inside when I had to deal with a few issues. So I'll post that link below for you guys to go ahead and take a look at. This Airbnb honestly was not a lot of money, given the fact that we had just left California, where we were staying in an Airbnb for a month, and we were paying a little over $3,000 for that entire month. So to go down to a little over $1,900 was a really huge difference for us. And where we were located was really good, because we were like 5 minutes away from a beach. We were literally 15 minutes away from the tourist downtown Hua Hin area, because we stayed in Hua Hin, Thailand. Grocery store wasn't that far away, so it was perfectly located for our family and for what we wanted to do when we were in Thailand. So that's how much we paid. Now, if it seems like a steep price initially, the good thing about Airbnb, especially if you're booking far enough in advance, you can now split up the payments. So you could pay half of it up front, and then as your trip is approaching, you would go ahead and pay the other half at a later date. So that's something to note. That's why I always recommend that if you're looking to book an Airbnb, at least begin looking 3 to 4 weeks in advance. It just makes it a lot easier to find great deals at better prices. And because this was our first time in another country, we weren't really sure about the transportation situation. In order to get to Hua Hin in Thailand, you have to fly into Bangkok and then drive 3 hours down to Hua Hin. I know it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. People do it every single day. So we didn't want to drive, because we had to deal with getting a a SIM card for the phone, dealing with the kids, all the luggage. So we said, look, let's just go ahead and hire a driver. We found a really great service. I'll leave their information in the video below as well. And it didn't cost us that much either. I think it was like all of $60 for a 3-hour drive. So it was pretty good. Really, really nice car, very, very nice driver. And so once we got there, we had a choice of either renting a scooter, which brand new country, we'd always driven on the right side of the road. Everyone in the other part of the world drives on the left side of the road, so we just did not want to take that chance. So we went ahead and we rented a car, which was still quite the learning curve. And Tim drove because I was not gonna put myself in that kind of chaos. So we rented a car for, actually not even the entire time, because the first week we were just trying to get acclimated. We took a taxi to go get groceries and things like that. And then the following week we ended up renting a car. So we rented a car for about 3 weeks, 21 days. And the total cost of that car was $379.26. Not too shabby, especially given in the US a week's rental at like Enterprise or something like that would typically cost that amount. So to get that for 21 days was pretty awesome. One of the other really amazing things in Thailand is cost of food. Food is cheap in Thailand, and we were super, super excited to try all of the amazing food. We didn't really get into too much local food until we met some friends, Bruce and Megan, and they took us to this really cool, like, open air restaurant, the Soy 88, I think it's called. We got to try some amazing food, and like pad thai for $2 and delicious fried chicken. This is where Aria had squid for the first time. I think we spent a total of like $24 for all of us to eat, and we were full. We're talking dessert too. So the food in Thailand is like super, super cheap, even for families. Of course, they have their upscale, really, really nice restaurants as well. Like we went to the Chocolate Factory there, which was amazing. It's kind of an Italian eclectic mix, really, really dope. And even with us ordering, like, I think Tim had like this really delicious salmon platter, and I had this seafood platter with prawn. The girls had this great pizza, and we all ordered dessert. And for all 4 of us, it was like $83 or something like that. It's something insane. It just, the meal, the spread, the atmosphere should definitely at least cost us like $120, $150 for all of us. So even some of your nicer upscale stuff is not gonna be that expensive, which is really, really nice too, especially if you wanna treat yourself every once in a while, which I did because it was my birthday month. When we went, the dollar converted to 31 Thai baht, so you have to be very mindful of that. When you're spending money in Thailand, you need to be mindful of the currency conversion at the time, because it can change day by day. It all depends on what's going on with the dollar and then their dollar, and so you have to check it daily. We have an app that we use, so and that updates daily to let us know what it's worth and what the currency is like. That was another lesson learned, is because often we were using our card, and because you're not watching spending too much, because you're like, oh my god, this is so cheap, when you're doing the currency conversion, it's easy to go over budget. So you have to be mindful of that. Be mindful of the currency conversion. Be mindful of how often you're swiping that card, because it can definitely begin to add up. Thailand was a good lesson for us. So we've been mindful to take money out in cash, because then it helps us to keep up with our spending better in that regard, even when it's a lot, like in Malaysia. Or even Bali. Bali's a perfect example. We took out 1 million rupiah, and that's like 72 US dollars. Like 1 million rupiah gets you a whole lot in Bali. So you have to just be careful with the spending, because it's easy to go overboard. Now, one thing many people don't do when they're on vacation is that they typically go out to eat a lot. We were there for a month. We purposely got an Airbnb that had a kitchen, because we knew there were some days we wanted to cook. We didn't feel like going out, especially if it was raining or we just got busy with, writing blog posts or whatever the case is. So we went out and we got groceries. And believe it or not, for the entire month, we only spent $307.48. For a family of 4, not too bad, especially when you're looking at, meats, fresh fruit, fresh juices, organic stuff. Like that's pretty amazing. I would go to Whole Foods or Sprouts and easily spend $150 and get like 2 bags worth of groceries, and that's for a week. So, I mean, the eggs were organic. The juices that we had were organic. They didn't have any cheeses unless you go to an international market. So if you're looking for things that you would typically, that are westernized, you have to go to an international market to find those things. So we typically went to Tesco Lotus. They had everything that we needed. The only time we really went to an international market was to get the milk for Jordan, because Jordan only drinks rice milk because she's allergic to nuts. So if you're needing to find specialty items, just Google international market in any place you are. Almost always every country is gonna have at least one. And they're gonna be more expensive, so you gotta deal with that. And of course, there was some additional spending, like we don't buy souvenirs because we're always traveling now. We have 4 suitcases, 2 backpacks. Tim and I each carry one, and the girls have their toy suitcases. Our souvenirs are our videos, our memories, our photos, and things like that. So we don't spend a lot of money on tchotchkes and things of that nature. So that's really never an issue. But if we went out to, you know, if we needed to buy some new clothes, or like when we went to the temple cave, when we had to climb the mountain, that cost money. But we didn't spend over, I would say, $200 for the month on those different activities, going and seeing things, and things like that. So that's kind of just, you know, to give you an overview of what it cost to live in Thailand. Now, granted, that for most people, that's a lot of money overall, on an overall spend. Here's what you have to know. When you see these videos of people saying, oh, I got a place for $250 or like, you know, $300 a month. Number one, typically they're single or dual travelers, meaning all they need is a 1-bedroom. We have children, so we have to be mindful of different amenities and things that we need. Now, granted, we are planning to go back to Thailand, and so we're not going to be booking a place through Airbnb because we're going to be in Thailand a little bit longer, kind of setting up home base. So when you see people talking about these types of places, it's typically because they've gone apartment hunting, condo hunting there, and they were able to find really inexpensive places with, like, you know, kind of bare minimum furnished amenities. It's, you know, it's not that big of a deal. For us, we need 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Why? One, you know, the girls need their place to sleep. Mommy and daddy need their place to sleep. 2 bathrooms because of the fact that, I mean, there's 3 girls. Hair's got to get done. People's got to use the bathroom. Daddy, you know, he takes his time in the bathroom. Like, we just need our space. While we don't need a lot of it, those are just some core basic things. In addition to that, we need a decent kitchen because we do cook quite a bit. We've learned that it definitely helps to stretch the money throughout the week. So, you know, having just like this portable stove or just one little burner and, you know, a microwave is not going to cut it for our family. I at least need 2 burners. I need a full-size refrigerator. You know, most places you're not going to find an oven simply because it's not common here. It's not common in Thailand for people to have ovens. So if you do find one, that's an added plus. And I am looking for a place that has an oven because I miss baking. So you know, that's something else for our family. So believe it or not, you can find places like this for between $700 to $800 a month, which is still extremely cheap. But we are not the type of travelers that are like looking for the bare minimum, like the cheapest thing that we can spend. We're looking, you know, our goal is having a balance, good quality life, inexpensive, still within budget. But you know, we're not trying to go bare bones here. So some of the places that we're looking at in Thailand currently cost anywhere between $700 to $900 a month, and you know, they check the box of everything that we want for a place to stay on a long-term basis. We'll take you through that journey when we go house hunting in Thailand soon, and that way you can get a better idea if you're planning to move or just visit on a long-term basis in Thailand, what to expect. So that was a really good thing that we learned. We had some of the same expectations of spending $200, $300 a month, and it's just not realistic for a family. Hopefully this breakdown of how much it costs for our first day in Thailand helps you get a better idea. Of course, you could do it cheaper. There are a lot cheaper places on Airbnb. We were just, like I said, given that we had just spent $3,000 for the month in California, coming down to $1,900 was really amazing. And it was my birthday month. So, you know, we did want to stay somewhere nice and make it memorable, and it was. So no regrets. Until our next video. Bye.